What does the Euthyphro Dilemma mean for religion? Imagine a world where what is right and wrong depends solely on what a divine being commands. This idea raises a significant question. Are actions morally good because God commands them, or does God command them because they are inherently good? This question is known as the Euthyphro Dilemma, and it challenges how we think about morality in relation to religion. At the heart of the Euthyphro Dilemma are two main options. First, if something is good just because God commands it, then morality seems arbitrary. This means that if God were to command something widely seen as wrong, like cruelty, it would suddenly become morally right simply because God said so. This perspective raises concerns about the stability of moral values. On the other hand, if God commands actions because they are inherently good, then it suggests that morality exists independently of God. In this case, God is not the source of morality but recognizes moral truths that exist outside of divine will. This leads to the idea that moral standards could be valid even without God. For many religious thinkers, this dilemma poses a challenge to the belief that moral values depend solely on God's will. It pushes them to clarify whether morality is grounded in God's nature or commands, or if moral standards exist on their own. To address this, some religious philosophers modify the divine command theory. They argue that morality is rooted in the unchanging and perfect nature of God. Since God is all good, they claim that God would never command something like cruelty. Thus, morality is not arbitrary nor independent of God but is instead grounded in God's character. This approach attempts to avoid the pitfalls of both sides of the dilemma by making God's nature the standard of goodness. From the perspective of ethics and morals, the Euthyphro Dilemma highlights the challenge of explaining moral ontology, which is the nature and foundation of moral values, in religious terms. It questions whether moral truths depend on divine authority or if they have their own existence and justification. Practically, this dilemma encourages both religious and secular thinkers to reflect it on the basis of moral principles. It suggests that ethical behavior requires more than just following divine commands. It involves understanding the reasons behind why actions are considered right or wrong. This opens up a space for dialogue between religious and non-religious moral frameworks, as both groups seek to identify what makes actions morally good. In essence, the Euthyphro Dilemma compels religion to confront whether morality is merely an arbitrary decree from God or an independent standard that even God recognizes. This question influences how religious ethics justify moral obligations and how they relate to broader moral philosophy.